Everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays the Binding of Isaac. It's been, Isaac. They've given us the tips and tricks we've needed to succeed. They've given us the speed to succeed, the damage to manage, and the tears for cheers, baby. That was, it's nice when you get a meaningful, I didn't say good. It's nice when you get a meaningful bit of content right off the top, and the episode is just justified immediately by your incredible diction. Ooh. Anyway, it's been like, dude, this is one of the lightest weeks of recording I've had. We've been so busy with moving stuff, and boy, do I have an anecdote for you. So yesterday, which was probably like 2.5 weeks ago, admittedly, in real time, if you still believe in such a thing, we were supposed to get delivery of this new entertainment center. You know, a stand that a TV goes on that has attached shelves, drawers, I don't know, shelves, drawers, cabinets, what's the difference? It's, a complicated piece of furniture. So when Kate got it, she also paid a little bit of a bonus. And by bonus, I mean fee. So it really depends on whose perspective you're looking at. Excuse me? Three Spirit Hearts from a tinted rock that wasn't a double tinted rock? Very interesting indeed. Anyway. We paid a little extra to have it assembled. Now you're gonna start, and this is gonna have some real Karen energy attached to it, okay? But you gotta let me get to where I need to go before you judge too hard. We, expected, we were told that this thing would be delivered at like 9 a.m. Okay, that's cool. Wake up, get ready for the call, don't receive the call. Eventually we receive a call, they're like, hey, we're having some problems. Is going to take us, until sometime between like 3 p.m. and 5 p.m. for it to arrive. Again, par for the course. Happened many times, many different sorts of deliveries. It's okay. Sure, go ahead. Ran some other errands. Around 4:30, I get a call. Well, Kate gets a call. It says they'll be here in half an hour. I say, okay, that's cool. Half an hour comes, they call. They're like, we're in front of your place. I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see you. They're like, we're here. And I'm like, well, that's an issue because I don't see you. Then eventually I was like, are you sure you're at the right address? And I gave them directions. And they were like, no, we're at the wrong address. Okay. Starting to get a little bad. But, life goes on. It's getting a little late though. And we know, we've read online, this thing takes hours and hours and hours to assemble. So the outlook is starting to get pretty bleak. Half an hour later, they've braved rush hour traffic. They got it, and they start unloading it into into our place. And the whole time, they're just saying words that I cannot repeat in the landscape of YouTube in 2019. Holy S, what the F, etc., over and over. And I realized that this is the first time these guys have realized that they've been tasked putting together this Herculean entertainment center. I understand little bits and pieces of the world. I know we're not, when you pay a little bit of money to get a piece of furniture assembled, they're not sending the designer of the piece of furniture who knows all the ins and outs. It's mercenary work. But at the same time, I was a little they didn't prepare you for this? Okay, this is just an embarrassing level of damage here. Anyway, they start putting it together. It's 5:30, maybe even closing in on 6 p.m. This is where you start to realize, even the instructions say it's a 180-minute installation. Now, usually the instructions for a piece of furniture, for IKEA, for example, is you can assemble this in 10 minutes. That means an hour. If you've assembled them before, you could probably assemble it in 10 minutes, to be fair. But it's not even like being good or bad at the assembly. Sadly, we just can't take that, I think, right now. It's just like, you know, when you've done it before, you know, this goes here, this goes here. You don't have to identify, this is a loot screw, this is a Fjargenfloud screw, etc., etc. You know. But when you don't know, you gotta double check, and some of them are like, you know, the differences between them are very minute. This one's a millimeter longer than the other one, etc., etc., etc. Regardless, they start to assemble it. I'm not a narc, okay? So I'm not watching everything they do with the assembly. I wasn't, you know, first off, that's not my area of expertise, obviously. Secondly, you know, I was putting myself in their shoes, and I'm like, if I was, you know, paid to assemble a piece of furniture at somebody's house, I wouldn't want the person watching me like a hawk, as if they can help anyway. So I was just hanging out. Hours go by, you know, I'm hearing cordless drills, swearing, cordless drills, swearing. You know, and occasionally I'm looking over, and I'm like, I gotta be honest. It's been like 2.5, 3 hours. Not a lot of progress has been made here. It's not a good situation, and they're starting to, you know, they're talking about how, like, oh, we're not going to be able to get this done tonight, which I had kind of assumed was going to be the case. I mean, I don't know, they might have been working since like 7 a.m., right? Anyway, they're like, excuse me, sir, which I'm like, my dad's sir, you could just call me dude. You know, like, we're trying to put it together, but it looks like there's like a lot of pieces missing, so I don't think we're going to be able to do it tonight, but someone will call you tomorrow and get it put together. And I'm like, you know what, thanks for trying your best. I get it's not the most intuitive piece of furniture. I really appreciate it, thanks a lot. Anyway, after they left, Kate was not happy, which is fair. I mean, I have sympathy for the people putting it together, but at the same time, we did pay for a service to be done, and, you know, this service was not even close to being done. They just left, like, the unit in, like, 7 pieces on the ground. And Kate was, like, looking at the instructions, and she's like, I think we could put this together. And lo and behold, my superhero wife, with me helping, basically in just the capacity of lifting the heavy objects and putting them into place, was able to assemble it. It took us from like 8 p.m. until 1:30 a.m. But we did it. It's like 95% assembled. And moreover, no missing pieces at all. And, you know, beyond all that, they actually just like... Why are these tinted rocks paying out so well right now? They just assembled the thing wrong. I don't actually even know if they looked at the instructions. I think they might have just they used them as a guide and then tried to like assemble it by feel, which is just, I mean, that's kind of comical, you gotta admit. Anyway, we made it happen, and I've never been prouder of my wife, but still, dude, that was like my whole Thursday was I mean, our whole Thursday, to be fair, was just getting this freaking entertainment center set up. And you best believe I don't have a very I think we're just gonna bounce on this floor. I really want to get a deal with the devil and kick our offense into high gear. What I was gonna say is I don't really have a can I speak to your manager sort of, you know, this is unacceptable energy emanating out from me. This is one where I'm like, someone is good. We're gonna be apologized to today. This is not like, I don't mind assembling the piece of furniture ourselves. The thing is, we paid for it to be assembled because every review of the product was like, putting this thing together is very difficult. Please get assembly. We get assembly, and then it turns out the people assembling it are also looking at it for the first time and are actually doing it with, like, you know, less care than we would. That's the problem here. Also the fact that, you know, to be honest, by having them assemble it, like, sort of wrong for 3 hours, they cost us more time in addition to costing us more money. It's like, the way I look at it right now is like, You know, imagine if you got in like a taxi and you were like, to the airport, please. And then they drove you to like, you know, the other side of town, like further away from the airport. And then the taxi driver was like, I gotta level with you, dude. I don't know where the airport is. If you got out of the taxi, would you be like, hey, I'm really excited about paying you 25 bucks for driving me in the wrong direction, even when I told you to drive me in the right direction? No, you'd probably be like, well, I'm mad for one, but I'm definitely like also not gonna pay you. That's absurd. So that's basically where I'm at today. These are like first world problems. I can't deny that. But at the same time, it's just frustrating, you know. Like, mentally, I'm doing okay today, obviously. I mean, it wasn't like I got through an incredible piece of trauma or something like that. I'm just saying, you know, just because it's a first world problem doesn't mean it's a problem. I mean, if you paid for, like, a private chartered flight and the pilot showed up drunk, and you tweeted, like, hey, my pilot showed up drunk for our flight, people could hit you with first world problem. You can hit with first world problem with anything, you know? Oh, my Brita water filter broke. I have to go to Costco and get a new one, you know? They are first world problems. That doesn't mean they're not worth complaining about, especially when you know, you paid for it. You paid for a service that was not delivered. Every other, you know, delivery we've had, assembly we've had has been A-okay. It's just this one in particular has been absolutely god off. I didn't mean to buy that. Anyway. That's my day yesterday. I mean, you know, it was still an okay day. To be honest, like, putting together the piece of furniture. These moments don't happen all that often where, like, you and another person get enveloped in, like, a traumatic situation. That might be a little bit of a heavy word for it. But, like, an unusual or, you know, stressful situation happens to two people, that automatically puts, like, it wraps an envelope around them that gives them a bond, you know? I think it's the way, I mean, I've had this with, you know, coworkers and, you know, other friends and stuff in my life. When you have a situation happen to you that's kind of unbelievable, you and the other person, you have a unique shared experience that brings you closer together. So I appreciate that. Like, Kate and I were mad, but we were also laughing about how mad we were. And we were like, this is just, it's a comical level of disaster from a corporation. So I appreciate that. And at the end of the day, the entertainment center, you know, it'll last. We'll be able to use it. It's not like the entertainment center is not going to be sturdy enough to hold, you know, a television. They only weigh like, you know, 20 pounds now. But beyond that, you know, we'll always have the shared memory of the time where we put together the entertainment center. And, you know, that memory is going to be worth something. But we also could have, you know, taken the money that we spent on the assembly and made some pretty good memories as well. So hopefully we'll get a refund for that. But it's just, I mean, I get it's, you know what it's done is it's dispossessed me of the notion that you get what you pay for sometimes. No deal with the devil, are you kidding me? And you just left the keys even though you got a lot. It's not that big of a deal, but still. I need this deal. Don't be Krampus, please. You know, because again, I want to be clear. It's not like I had somebody show up that was like, oh yes, I get paid $250,000 Canadian a year to assemble furniture. These guys were also, they were ill-equipped to handle it. I'm not even really mad at the people that assembled it. They were clearly out of their depth. I'm more mad at the company we bought it through that was like, oh yeah, and for a little extra money you can get it assembled. For, like, clearly them having no guarantee that, like, it could actually be assembled by the people that were bringing it. You know what I mean? It's like if I was the furniture assembler. You know, if you call me over and you're like, hey, I need you to build an Alex filing cabinet from IKEA. I'm like, thank you for the free money. This is a great thing. I love doing it. And I really appreciate the opportunity. If you brought me over and you're like, you know, here's a 300-piece entertainment unit, I would be like, oh no. Why the bomb there? Just gotta know. Anyway. It's It's coming to pass. It's getting done, but, you know, it's just one example of how, you know, when you move, you just think, I'll just lift some boxes, drive it over, moved. You know, there's all sorts of little things that can go askew. Notice I didn't say wrong, just askew, you know? Messed with my head, too, because, like, you know, we got home late. I usually go to bed at, like, midnight these days. Even earlier than my 30-year-old bedtime. I'm closing in on that 31 number now. So I didn't fall asleep until, well, I didn't go to bed until, like, 2. I fell asleep in, like, 1 second after my head hit the pillow. I had, like, some crazy dreams, though, dude. It was, like... So I've been playing, not, like, for fun, but, like, I streamed it a little. Sonic and Mario at the 2020 Olympic Games. So I think that informed my dream. Like, you know, I dreamt that Tom Holland's Spider-Man was engaged in, like, a life or death struggle with Dr. Robotnik, as played by Jim Carrey. This is not a joke, by the way. And eventually, so, you know, Tom Holland's Spider-Man was, he was getting his butt kicked by Dr. Robotnik, which is very likely. And, then, you know, he was protecting Mary Jane Watson, right? And then eventually, Spider-Man, like, he used his body to shield Mary Jane Watson's body from Dr. Robotnik's. And he was like, you can't hurt her. And Dr. Robotnik was like, I'm not here for her. I'm here for you. Now, you're not going to like this next part. That's when Dr. Robotnik opened his mouth and an army of nanobot spiders came out that then went into Tom Holland's mouth. And Tom Holland was like, what the heck, dude? And Dr. Robotnik was like, I've just released a nanite swarm inside of you that will give me control of your actions. I now have control of Spider-Man. And that's when my dream ended. But, like, you could tell my brain chemistry was... Usually I have dreams that are like, I'm at a coffee shop with my best friend from 4th grade. This dream was like, yo, there's like a serious controversy. Well, calamity. It's not really a controversy. What are you going to do, cancel Dr. Robotnik for trying to take over the world? So anyway, psychologically, that's where I'm at. It was a long day. It was a longer day than usual. For sure. I mean, and that's why I'm thankful I got a backlog, but I got, like, very, very little YouTube work done over the course of the past few days, because, I mean, Tuesday I just stream, Monday I do record a lot, but Wednesday is usually a big recording day, but hey, you know, some things take precedent, and, you know, even, it's a job where I have a luxury, for sure, to be able to take time off at a moment's notice if I have, you know, the work ready to go, if that makes sense. But, you know, even if I had no backlog, I think it was wise to take yesterday off because, man, that is not really helpful, to be honest. It's wise to take yesterday off just so I could help Kate out. I mean, you know, this is like, it's a big project for her. She's designed everything. She's taken most of the deliveries. Yesterday, I was like, you know what? I'll help out. You've been working hard. And thank God I was there. Not that she couldn't have handled it, but I found a solemn honor in, you know, dealing with some of the stuff so that she didn't have to. Let me put it that way. Most of that solemn honor is fading away right now. Not because of anything, you know, related to yesterday, but because I'm just trying, please, to beat this Isaac run, which will require a great bit more offensive punch. I don't know if I can even take a deal with the devil at this point. Thank you so much for the deal with the angel. The mind is a beautiful thing to get and a terrible thing to waste. I will not be fighting the angel statue because I respect myself. I will even try this one. Okay, it did end up being worth it. We can do this. 18 minutes Dank depths too. HP is good. Everything's a-okay. Something inside that you wanna say. Say it alright, it'll be okay. It's actually like, to be honest with you, yesterday was like, it was a cursed day to begin with. Like, I woke up, I went to the gym, everything was fine at the gym, then I made the mistake of reading my own subreddit, and people were like, why do you hate Austin? And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, in Minecraft Team Unity yesterday, he was building a stack of dirt to go to a sky island, and you got all upset because he didn't build a stack of dirt for you to go to the sky island, and then you went off to your own sky island. And I was like, oh my god, I forgot. I forgot what playing Minecraft on YouTube was like. So like, and then, you know, it's very frustrating for me, even though it's also par for the course. I was already in kind of like a sensitive position because we got a lot of stuff going on. And then people were writing, you know, essays about like, you know, hey, you're treating your friend like garbage because you didn't go to the Sky Island with him. Even though, you know, it was actually totally fine and you're just inferring something that isn't there in the first place. But like during the chat, or during the stream, I should say, everybody's like, the chat is just like, what's your favorite anime? And after the stream on the subreddit, people are posting essays that are like, you know, your sour attitude is destroying Team Unity. And I'm like, I didn't have a sour attitude. You see me opening those chance cubes at the end? I was gleeful. Anyway, so it was already like, I was in not the best place, emotionally speaking. And then you know, to add this on top of it, it was a cursed situation. There's no doubt about that. I was struggling, and then in a way, I almost, you know, I think other people also have this philosophy, but I almost was like grateful that something more annoying in real life with the entertainment center happened, so that I could, you know, remind myself that, like, you know, what I was complaining about to begin with was relatively trivial. And it's, you know, it's one of those, like, put up or shut up moments. You know, you're like, oh, things are tough. I'm complaining, I'm complaining, I'm complaining, I'm complaining. Then something that's, you know, more frustrating comes along, and you get the opportunity to be like, okay, am I just gonna crumple and, you know, go to bed, try tomorrow? Or am I gonna rise up and try to, you know, deal with this issue? And we rose up and dealt with the issue, and as a result, I felt better. It was kind of just like, it reset me, you know? I feel a lot better today, to be honest. So, you know, I'm not trying to be that guy who's like, oh, well, hardship makes you strong. But, you know, to some extent, iron sharpens iron. Hard times make strong people, etc., etc. I mean, this is, again, it's not really a hard time, but, you know, the situation we dealt with the furniture yesterday was more hard than, you know, somebody being like, you used a pick to mine dirt, dummy. I mean, I was legit rattled yesterday because somebody called me, Dan, and Malf the slowest Minecraft players in history. That's where my brain was at yesterday. So clearly, a somewhat innocuous comment like that normally would not even come close to getting under my skin. If anything, I would probably find it funny. But I was already close to some sort of edge yesterday. And in a way, the furniture pushed me over the edge, and I landed. I landed just fine. And feel better as a result. Can we just, like... I just want, like, some kind of offensive-related item. You can teleport me. That does not bother me. We got a 72% chance of a deal with somebody here. I would take Angel, Devil, Demon, Archangel, which I don't even understand the difference. Dark Angel, starring Jessica Alba. Earth Angel, that song from the 50s. Will you be mine? I will say, the one thing, the enduring thing that's got me rattled about yesterday was gonna make like a sweet lentil curry and didn't get the time. That's because now it has a knock-on effect on the whole week. I don't have a lunch for today. I'm gonna have to either go out and get a lunch, or I'm gonna have to do what I usually do, just eat like, you know, 4 protein bars until dinner time just to stay alive. You know, like, it's not a joke. Outside of normal meal times, which is why I do like meal prep, my diet consists of like probably like 80% or greater almond milk, protein powder, protein bars, peanut butter. And it's not even from a health-related lens. I think we will... you know what? We should take Perthro first. It's just that, like, you know, they're bulk foods that are quick to consume. You know, can be... They're not whole foods, I will admit. But they're relatively good for you. It's, you know... It's not like you're just eating snack cakes or something like that. And they, you know, they fit the macronutrient profile I'm looking for, and also are calorically relatively dense, allowing me to satiate myself through the high demanding profession of streaming on Twitch.tv and making Isaac videos of the same game I played 3,500 times before. That's why I needed those lentils, dude. I needed those slow digesting carbohydrates. I needed the nutrition that can only come from a legume. And it did not come to pass. It did not come to pass. That's okay. Everybody's got to deal with hardship in their life. Don't shoot your nonsense at me, okay? I got 10 bombs. I'm not afraid to use them, sorta. Go ahead, shoot your nonsense at me. You don't dare. I didn't get hit. The explosion touched me, and yet I was not hurt. It must have hit something, like, in front of me instead. That's all I can imagine. Where is the deal? Where is the offense? And why am I complaining? Because everything is actually going relatively well. The thing is, I'm just begging you. I'm begging you. No curse, please. No, preferably no curse of any kind, but no mapping curse. Thank you. Thank you so much. You've done me a great service. It's now easy for us... Oh, that was a whiff. To get to the exit. Relatively easy for us to get to the exit. All we gotta do... I mean... I can't really afford to use, Undefined, I think. Don't sneak out. Don't sneak out. Hold on. There we go. I realized we don't really need the Spirit Hearts, but we also haven't gotten Small Rock yet, so... I think this is a great floor to use your bombs to make it through. Please shoot a green ball at me. Thank you. There was a Tinted Rock there. It's the very rare time in human existence I'm actually hoping for bombs out of Tinted Rocks instead of Spirit Hearts, but just goes to illustrate what kind of run we're on here. So, most rooms... I'm just gonna... We evaluate at runtime, you know? We're gonna walk in. Are there, annoying enemies? Maybe we'd rather just use a bomb to skip it. The Chaos card, I honestly, I think Blue Baby and Isaac are roughly the same level. I would rather use it to kill Blue Baby, get us to the chest a little faster. And, hopefully, on the chest, pick up some items of some decent quality. I mean, like, offensively, it's not a horrible run. I don't want to act like this is one of the true train wrecks, but it is pretty bad. That was probably the greatest Bob's Brain play I've ever consciously done. I think I'm also, I have to, you know, I've got that emotional hangover. I feel silly complaining about, you know, what is the You know, oh, we bought a pretty expensive piece of furniture, but the assemblers didn't assemble it right, so we had to assemble it. You know, I feel weird. I feel some cognitive dissonance complaining about that. Don't get me wrong. By the way, for some reason, I thought we were on the cathedral, which we are not. Which is good, because we can get a deal with the devil here. And I think I got a, you know, a little bit of an emotional hangover. You know, I think I'm going to be a little bit more irritable today, a little bit more, a little bit lower patience, you know, and that's, you know, it happens. You just got to acknowledge it. At the end of the day, you know, the things that upset you are the things that upset you. Doesn't help to have somebody say, oh, even if that somebody is yourself, it doesn't help to have somebody say, oh, you shouldn't be upset over that, be upset over this instead. I don't really like any of these items, to be honest, but move me onwards and upwards. We can see there is a dice room. So I believe this will take me to the chest. But, or maybe the cathedral again. I think we'd still rather have Chaos Card than Black Rune. And Host Hat is a pretty good item in and of itself. It took us directly to the chest. Thank you. Oh my god. What an incredible improvement. I will absolutely take Dr. Fetus. I'll absolutely take Cricket's Head. And everything is A-okay and good to go. Now, it's just a matter of finishing this one off. Ooh. And to be honest, you know, there's a certain pleasantness that can only come with hindsight. I'm trying to think of the most elegant way to describe this. You know? Like, I've been watching a lot of content related to the Second World War. I find it very interesting. You know, because when I was younger, I was like, it's boring old people stuff. Who cares? Now I'm like, dude, it's not really like that old. People are alive that like went through that. It's basically like our great grandparents, and yet it feels like it happened in an alternative universe. It's a very, you know, I think it's a relatively unique period in modern human history. Which I don't think is controversial to say at all. I don't know why I phrased it like I'm the only person with the foresight to see that this World War II thing is impactful. But, you know, I realize, like, you know, when I watch a World War II documentary or something like that, and they're talking about how, like, you know, in 1942, things were looking pretty grim. I watch it with, like, a sense of intellectual curiosity, but without any anxiety, because I already know how it ends. And I think sometimes it's easy to, or let's not say it's easy, but let's say, you know, you make the mistake of not remembering that for people that were alive in 1942, you know, if you were like a Dutch citizen in 1942, you didn't know how this was going to go, right? In fact, it might have looked like it was going to go the other way. So for us, we can say like, oh, well, you know, don't worry about it. D-Day's coming soon. For them, you know, they were like, what the heck is D-Day? I don't know. This is the most inelegant point I've ever made. It's the same thing for this run. Until I knew it was going to end in relative peace, I didn't feel comfortable. But once we got there, I looked back at the whole run and went, you know what? It was actually pretty good. So for now, thanks for watching. Hope you've enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps us a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!